Now, the US says that several hundred North Korean soldiers have been killed or injured while fighting for Russia in its war with Ukraine. The estimate was provided by a defense official on Tuesday without giving an exact figure. Ukraine released drone images this week showing what it says are North Korean troops killed in combat. Ukrainian intelligence officials said at least 30 North Korean soldiers had been killed or injured in Russia's Kursk region over the weekend. Ukraine says Pyongyang sent more than 10,000 troops to reinforce Russia's war effort. Let's take a closer look at this with Marina Miron, a military analyst at King's College London. Thanks for joining us, Maria. Good to see you. Marina, this is the first time that we're hearing how many North Koreans have died or have been wounded in this war. Tell us what you make of these numbers.
Good day, Anya. Well, I don't make anything really of these numbers because we have different reports coming from different sides. So on the one hand, we have the Ukrainian reports claiming one number, and we have some US officials claiming some 200 casualties, which means we don't know the exact number of those being killed in action versus those wounded. And it would be very difficult to tell anyway in this situation. So what we can assume, if the reports are correct, is that some, maybe 200-300 North Koreans suffered casualties without knowing the exact number of dead soldiers.
How heavily is Russia relying on these North Korean soldiers?
I don't think that Russia relies that heavily on them. We have to understand, and we have already discussed this a couple of months ago, they don't speak Russian language. They were trained for a completely different task. So there is a question how well they will fare on flatlands in a war of attrition. Therefore, I don't think that they are the main reliable source of power for the Russians. And I think perhaps North Korea has more to benefit from this than the Russian military in a military sense. And I still don't believe that they will be catastrophically changing the situation on the battlefield in the Kursk region.
So tell us more about that, Marina. What exactly is Pyongyang getting in return for helping Russia out here?
Well, there are several things that Pyongyang can get and is getting, and reportedly it has been getting a lot of oil or more oil than allowed under UN sanctions. For one, of course, cash and food. So Pyongyang is deepening its ties with Russia, trying to somewhat distance itself from Beijing. If we look at the numbers, if we look at the numbers of imports in terms of US dollars, they have gone somewhat down. And of course, the military side of this is very important because North Koreans, on the one hand, get to test their weapons against Western air defenses in order to make the necessary modifications. They get a taste of what the contemporary battlefield is like, namely the war of attrition with drones and constant surveillance by the adversary. And of course, Pyongyang might be hoping to get some missile technology for its ballistic missiles, which could enable it to reach across the Pacific, so to create a strong deterrent against the United States.
Marina Miron from King's College London. Marina, thank you as ever.
Thank you for having me.